Hi, everyone. Okay, so I want to just go through a brief overview of the unique laws this year, since Erev Pesach is on Shabbat. So the last time this happened is 13 years ago. And since then, I'm sure a lot of you have forgotten the unique challenges and laws of Erev Pesach being on Shabbat. And so I'm going to just give a very, very brief overview of the laws again to refresh your mind and memory. First of all, don't panic. That's number one. Don't panic. God loves us. The fact that Pesach is on Saturday night, Pesach is a beautiful 8-day festival. Pesach is a time where we can enjoy the Seder, enjoy the festival of freedom. It's meant to be just that, unique, beautiful, enjoyment, spending time with family, telling your children the story of the Exodus. And this year it's just beautiful because the day before Pesach is Shabbat. I'm going to share the screen over here so you can see just a couple of notes, which I put onto a Word document. Thank you, Zoom. The unique challenges of Shabbat that falls out in Erev Pesach. First of all, when is the fast of the firstborn? So there's a fast every single year of the firstborn. Firstborn males have to fast, and that is because of the miracles that happened with the firstborn, those beautiful miracles. So the firstborns have to fast. The problem is Shabbat is Erev Pesach. And we don't fast on Shabbat, and you can't really fast on Friday because Friday is the only time we fast on Friday is a Sarah B'Tevet, which actually happened just about 2 months ago. But otherwise, you can't fast on Friday either. So you fast on Thursday. So Thursday, March 25, which is 2 days before Pesach, really. Thursday was a fast day. So what the firstborn do is you make you finish a Masechet, a tractate in Talmud or Mishnah, whatever, and you go to a siyum and you enjoy and partake of that meal, and therefore that kind of breaks your fast because it's a happy occasion. But the fast of the firstborn is Thursday. That's number one. Number two, when do you search for chametz? So a normal year, if Pesach falls out, let's say on a Tuesday night, so the night before you check your chametz, you check for chametz. So you take 10 pieces of bread with a candle, with that feather thing, and with the brown, with the bag, so you can put chametz in, and you go and you make the blessing, and you search and you search and you search for chametz. So this year you can't do it on Friday night because Friday night you're not allowed to light a candle, and there's a whole myriad of laws that are forbidden to do because of that. It's a very simple solution. You take the Bdikas Chametz kit, and you do it Thursday night. What time Thursday night? So wherever you are, it's supposed to be after Tzeta Kochabim, after 3 stars are out. So in New York City, that's around 7:40 p.m., more or less. That's when you check for Chametz, Thursday night. They just change the clock, so it's an hour later. But that's another unique thing that happens this year because of Pesach. So it's Thursday night instead of the night before. Okay, the next thing, number 3, the item in front of you. When do you burn the chametz? So normally, if the Seder is on Tuesday night, you burn the chametz Tuesday morning. That's when you do it. But because this year Pesach is on Shabbat, and you cannot light a fire, you cannot burn the chametz on Shabbat morning, so you don't do biur chametz on Saturday morning, you do it Friday morning. So 2 days before, the day before, basically, Friday morning, you will do the burning of the chametz, and again, the New York time is 11:58 a.m. Now, technically speaking, you don't really need to burn your chametz then, because Friday you can eat chametz, as we'll discuss in a minute. Friday night you can eat challah. So technically speaking, if you forgot to burn 11:58 a.m., you can burn 12, 1, 2, 3, you can burn whatever you want. But because we don't want to differentiate, we don't want you to forget next year, when Pesach does not fall out on Saturday night, we don't want you to forget that you're supposed to do it in the morning. So this year also you burn your chametz 11:58 a.m. on Friday morning, 2 mornings before Pesach, basically. If anybody has any questions, just feel free to chat it on Zoom, and or message me afterwards. Okay, so that's when you burn the chametz. Next item is, what can you eat on Shabbat? So this is the biggest problem. You see, what do you eat on Shabbat? I remember 13 years ago when we weren't in the COVID era. So most shuls have a communal Friday night dinner and a Shabbat lunch as well. And no problem. You see, the problem is we're already starting to clean our chametz. Most kitchens are going to be Pesach mode by this Sunday, which is a few days before Pesach. So you can't clean your house and kasher your kitchen and do all those items on Shabbat, because Saturday night is the Seder Pesach already. So your house is going to be in Pesach mode, right? Your oven, your fridge, everything's going to be already Pesach items by Thursday, Friday, the latest, before Shabbat. So what do you eat in Shabbat? So first of all, you eat Pesach food. Pesach food, not matzah, as I'll explain in a minute, but and then you set aside, just you try and make sure, in a normal Shabbat, it says that, when you borrow money for Shabbat, when you spend money on Shabbat, God pays you back. Shabbat is a special mitzvah. We have to make sure to enjoy and have pleasures on Shabbat. I myself buy my kids a lot of treats on Shabbat. Make sure that they really enjoy, look forward to Shabbat. My triplets say, "Oh, I want the candy yogurt on Shabbat morning." Make sure they have the pleasure on Shabbat. But on this Shabbat, you just buy chametz-free stuff. You buy chametz stuff, which is just enough that you need for Friday morning and Saturday morning, as we'll see in a second. So Friday night, you have those two challahs, and ideally you eat, the fish and the chicken and all the other stuff that you eat. You will ideally have cooked it on Pesach utensils. So you're not going to use chametz utensils for that, because you already put away all the chametz, everything. So Pesach, you will use all the chametz, all the Pesach items. So you'll eat Friday night essentially all Pesach stuff except for the bread kind of thing. Now, you have to be very careful with that bread, with that challah, not to spill it all over the house, especially somebody like me who has a lot of kids. So they're going to take it all over the house, the rooms which have already been chametz cleaned. You don't want that. So you want maybe each person to eat a little bit of challah and make sure there's not so many crumbs. Make sure the crumbs afterwards, you put them away in the garbage, down the toilet, whatever it is. But you really don't want to have chametz all over the house, especially, the table is going to be already Shabbos. Some people, if you have space in your house, you put it aside. This is the one time actually where Manhattan is amazing for the trash reason, which I'll say in a second, but also when you check your house, tiny houses, tiny apartments, so, not as big as the suburbs, so you have less to check. And also when the kids throw chametz all over the house, it's less of an issue, less of a problem. But what should be done actually is that you should check the house. You should eat just a little bit of the bread on Friday night, and then Shabbos morning. So Shabbos morning, what do? Shabbos morning, you can only eat chametz in New York time until 10:55 a.m. Right, 10:55 a.m. Now, normally you in shul till 11:30. So this Shabbat morning, Erev Pesach, every shul will most likely start early. Our shul will probably start around 8 a.m. That's Shabbat morning, so we'll be done by 10. And 10 o'clock, you go home, you eat your meal, and you make sure that the chametz part of the meal is done by 10:55 a.m. The rest of the meal is fine. You could eat whatever you want, because Pesach, you can eat till 11:30, 12, no problem. The chametz part of the meal, you make sure to finish eating New York time by 10:55 a.m. Now, the challenge is here. What about Seudah Shlishit? There's a mitzvah to eat the third meal on Shabbat. So the third meal is actually two opinions. One opinion is that, before 10:55 a.m. you eat, right? You bench, and then you wash again and you eat again. That's one option. I'm not a big fan personally of that option. If I just ate, I'm not washing again and benching again and eating a whole meal again. It's a little tough. But you're supposed to eat, for those who eat bread on Seudah Shlishit, which is Shabbat afternoon, obviously that's forbidden. Also, you don't eat matzah on Erev Pesach. Now, if you are a Sephardi, follow the Sephardi tradition, you could eat what's called matzah ashira, which is egg matzah. If you want to go with that option, you can chat me afterwards to see if the egg matzah we have today is the same as the egg matzah, which is according to the mechaber, according to the Sephardi minhag. But for all intents and purposes, let's say it is. But you don't have to. You could also, Ashkenazim don't do that, by the way, but you could also eat the third meal on fruits and vegetables, on other items that you wouldn't normally eat. But you can make the third meal of Shabbat on that for this time round. So because you cannot eat chametz after 10:55 a.m. New York time on Shabbat morning. So once you finish eating the chametz, you need to nullify the chametz. See, every year when you nullify the chametz, you do that when you burn the chametz. So you take chametz, you burn it Erev Pesach, and then you make this statement, Kol chamira b'chamiyah de'iki b'shusi techadusei de'lo chadusei. Any chametz that is in my position, whether I know it or I don't know, I see it or I don't see it, is nullified. right? You nullify all the chametz. So you can't nullify the chametz when you burn it this year on Friday morning. So you nullify it on Saturday morning at exactly before 11:58 a.m. So again, you finish eating by 10:55 a.m. and you nullify the chametz by 11:58 a.m. Okay, so on the screen in front of you, what can be done about the third meal on Shabbat? We spoke about this. Two opinions: one, whether to eat, bench, and then eat and bench again, wash and bench again. And the second option, which is probably the better option, is to eat a meal later on in the afternoon, but you could eat it with fruits and vegetables. Another thing is the trash. See, living in Manhattan, it's much easier with trash because what happens is, you put whatever remaining chametz is in a trash. You take that trash and put it. In my case, literally open the door and the trash place is right there, and it's not mine anymore. But if you're living in suburbs, or this year because of COVID, you're not in Manhattan, you in your Hamptons home, or you in your home wherever in the suburbs, wherever you may be. So you need to make sure. When you put the trash out onto the driveway, technically speaking, you still own that trash. So if you have a large piece of challah, let's say, that you just put in the trash, technically speaking, you still own that, and it's kind of a little bit of an issue. So that's why I make sure that on Friday, whenever the days for trash pickup are, I know in a lot of places there's special dumpsters for Erev Pesach. They'll be this year probably Friday morning, so you make sure to dump your chametz then. And just leave over just a little bit of chametz, the crumbs that are left over, make sure you put them down the toilet, or just literally a little bit of crumbs, and then you have no issue whatsoever. Okay, item number 8 in front of us. So, let me see. Item number 8. When can the Seder actually begin? On Saturday night. So, Shabbos ends, again, New York time. I have the calendar in front of me, 7:57 p.m. So you cannot light Yom Tov holiday candles till 7:57 p.m. So technically speaking, you can't start preparations for the Seder before 7:57 p.m. So first of all, try and make sure all your items and all your table is set already from Friday. Try and make sure if you have, if you need it for Friday night and Shabbos morning, obviously you can't do that. You have to start all the preparations Saturday night after 7:57 p.m. Now, if you have, for example, the Pesach food, the maror and the charoset and all that kind of stuff, and checking the leaves, the lettuce, you should do that before Shabbos, so that on Saturday night, all you need to do is put everything on the table, etc., etc. Now, practically speaking, that's going to take you 30, 45 minutes, an hour. So for all intents and purposes, most Seders are not going to begin before 8:45, 9 p.m. if you rush it. So in my case, where the Pesach Seder is all about the children, and I have a lot of them, I'll try and make sure they'll have naps Saturday afternoon. I'll try to bribe them, whatever bribes I could use to keep them awake, because the Seder is all about the children. You want them to stay awake as much as possible. So that's just a brief overview of that. By the way, what I'm saying tonight is the briefest and only most basic halachot of Pesach, because it's much more intricate and much more detailed, and etc., etc. Number 9 on your list in front of you. What is the spiritual significance of chametz? So just remember that when you're burning your house, when you're cleaning your house for chametz, really the difference between chametz and matzah. Matzah represents humility. Chametz represents the ego. Right? Chametz and matzah is the same word. The difference is the chet and the hey. The chet has 3 things, right? 3 sides. The hey has 3 sides, but 1 opening. So if you're full of ego, you're full of yourself, you're arrogant, the only opening in the chet is down. But if you matzah represents humility, yeast that has not risen, versus chametz, yeast that has risen. Matzah represents humility. If you are humble, there's always an opening on the side. So cleaning out the house for chametz really means cleaning out your ego, cleaning out your bad character traits. Going out of Egypt means going out of my constraints, my limitations, the items that hinder me, my anger, my frustration, my depression, my anxiety, my pain. Going out of it, letting go. That is what it means, freedom. So let's just look at the to-do list. What you need to do from now and between now and March 26, 27, which is Pesach. Number 1, clean your home and car. Don't go crazy. So, I know there's some people who, they take the outdoor windows, they take the outside of the windows, they scrub it and they clean it and they go crazy. Now, there's no issue, halachically, that I could tell to clean the outside of the windows. The outside of your window, it's like there's nothing there. So you don't have to go crazy. So if you like to do spring cleaning, that's okay. That's great. You should clean, and that's wonderful. But Pesach is, you should clean your home and your car as much as possible. Make sure there's no chametz inside, etc., etc. Number 2, kasher your home. So kasher your home, I made a whole video about it. If anybody wants, I can share it. I think it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube. But kashering your home, meaning the pots, the pans, the countertops, the surfaces, the kitchen, the oven, the microwave. I explained at length how to do that. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Number 3, sell your chametz. So I shared a link over there with everything of Pesach. Sell your chametz. So selling your chametz doesn't mean you're selling it today. You go on our website, for example, chabadic.com, and you click on the link to sell your chametz. And what you do is you're appointing me in this case, or your local rabbi, to serve as your agent to sell the chametz for you on the day before Pesach, which this year is going to be Friday morning, March 26th. So on March 26th, the rabbi will act as your agent and sell it to a non-Jew so that you do not own the chametz on Pesach. D on the list, buy shmura matzah. So we have here in our Chabad house plenty shmura matzah. We probably have about 60 pounds left. It's going fast. So please contact me today for your shmura matzah. We specifically, the Rebbe encouraged to eat shmura matzah, which is hand-baked matzah, not machine-made matzah, hand-baked matzah, shmura matzah. We are crazy about that. So please come and get your shmura matzah. You can order also on the website. Another thing is ma'ot chitin. Ma'ot chitin is giving money to the poor. There's a specific mitzvah, besides for giving charity in general, giving money Erev Pesach, before Pesach, the days before Pesach, to people who cannot afford the basic necessities of buying items for Pesach, matzah and wine. Pesach is an expensive holiday. So you could do that also on our website if you want to fulfill that mitzvah as well. Now, just the basics of the actual Seder, F, G, and H are very, very, very important. F, G. How much matzah needs to be eaten at the Seder? The most important mitzvahs of the Seder are obviously telling the story. We also have the moror, the charosis, the whole 15 items. But the most important one, I would say, is to eat the matzah. So how much matzah needs to be eaten at the Seder? So again, there's many, many, many different laws. I'm going to give just the minimum here, to fulfill your obligation. At least 1/3 of a shemura matzah, which is considered a kazait. Now, there are 3 times when we eat matzah during the Seder. One is when we wash, motzi matzah. The next one is the korach, and the next one is ba'ad afikoman. So you eat it 3 times. Ideally, at least 1/3 of a shmura matzah, right? So if you have a shmura matzah, so I have plenty here, 1/3 of a shmura matzah is the minimum. If you can eat a whole matzah, half a matzah, that's even greater, that's great. But the minimum, force yourself to eat 1/3 of a shmura matzah. And the crucial thing is within 6 minutes. 6 minutes, according to the Tzemach Tzedek, is a time frame. So you take a bite, and obviously you're leaning, right? You take a bite, you eat, you take a bite, you eat, you take a bite, you eat, you schmooze, right? Preferably don't schmooze, don't talk. Make sure to eat that 1/3 of the shmura matzah within 6 minutes. If you do it within 6 minutes, you will have fulfilled your obligation mid'oraisa from the Torah to eat shmura matzah on Pesach, and that is the main mitzvah of Pesach. Somebody told me this week, I mailed the matzah, I gave the matzah, he said, oh, Rabbi, I ate it, it's delicious. It's great, I'm happy that it's delicious, but it needs to be eaten on Saturday night, March 27th, and Sunday night, March 28th, at the right time, etc., right? If you blow the shofar today, it's wonderful sound, but there's no mitzvah to hear the shofar today. But if you blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, that is when you fulfill your mitzvah. G, very, very, very important. How much wine needs to be drunk? Men and women need to drink wine. You really, really should try to push yourself to drink wine. If you absolutely cannot drink wine, you can still fulfill your obligation on grape juice. How much wine needs to be drunk? So ideally, you need to drink the whole cup. Drink the whole cup. Even though for Kiddush, you don't need to drink the whole cup. Over here, you should drink the whole cup. If you can't drink the full cup, so the size of the cup, you have some of these l'chaim cups, which I'm trying to see. I don't have here. The l'chaim cups are very, very small. The cup needs to contain at least a revis. Revis is 4 ounces there, or 2.9 ounces according to Rebbe Chaim Noah. That's how much. So it's probably like a milligram. I'm sorry, it's probably like a mouthful. It's a size. It's a nice, it's a nice size, but not crazy to make you drunk. I personally have a hard time drinking wine because I drink the whole thing and I go drunk, and I'm after 2 cups of wine, like I'm out. So I found there's a wine called Joivin, or the Frizzante Moscato d'Asti, or Joivin. I personally love Joivin. It's very, very low alcohol, like 3 or 4 or 5%. and it doesn't do nothing to my head. I'm good with it. I can drink 4 cups. I can enjoy the Seder, no problem whatsoever. So ideally, you need to drink a revis. Again, a revis is 4 ounces or 2.9 ounces. And ideally, you need to drink the whole thing. If you have a bigger cup, so then make sure to drink at least a revis of that, which is about 8, I think it's about 86 milligrams, which is a mouthful, or you have the measurements right there in front of you. And finally, the last thing I want to share, H, there's a special blessing which we recite only in the month of Nisan, or specifically now in the month of Nisan. The whole month you have to recite this blessing. It's called the blessing over the blossoming of trees. When you see trees blossoming for the first time, go outside to Central Park. You'll see beautiful trees there. Maybe now it's still freezing cold, but wait a few days and you can say there's a special blessing recited over the blossoming of trees. And it's a great, great mitzvah to say it, to recite it. It's beautiful for the Pesach Seder. Okay, so that's just the basic laws in a rundown. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask me, chat me. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this short little presentation, and wishing you all Chag Kasher V'Sameach. It says in Nisan, our forefathers were redeemed. In Nisan, we will be redeemed. We hope and pray that Mashiach will come right now, very soon. Enjoy.